Right, he holds the Guinness World Record for the most time spent in front of a television camera, if you can believe it. We could list off all of his awards and credentials, but frankly, we'd be here all day. But he and his wife recently performed their popular stage show at the Fox Theater at Foxwoods, and I was lucky enough to chat with him backstage in his green room before the show. Take a peek.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Regis Philbin.
There's Elvis, Madonna, Cher, and then Regis. All those names are considered to be divas. Do you consider yourself a diva?
No, not really. But I'll grant you that there aren't many Regises around.
Yeah, I only know of 5 or 6. That's it.
Is that right?
No, just you.
These are stars.
Well, you're quite the star as well.
I'm just a guy that's talking.
Now, you started your career. Who really opened the door for you?
I was in the service. It was during the war between the two Koreas. And the war ended, and so I was about to leave, and I had made friends with a Marine major, and was a terrific guy. And he said, "What are you going to do with your life?" I said, "I'd like to go into television, but I have nothing to offer anybody. I've never studied anything in TV, but..." He said, "Don't you know that you can have anything you want in this life? You've only got to want it bad enough. Now, do you want it?" I said, "Major, you don't understand. They only take people who are experienced. I have nothing." I said, "Do you want it?" He was so tough, this guy, that I clicked my heels, gave him a salute, and said, "Yes, sir, I want it," and went out and got it.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history, yeah.
Well, was there ever a point in your career where you felt like this isn't going to work out, or you had a low point?
Oh, sure, yeah. The beginning, I got a job at a show on in Hollywood, Channel 13, and I would carry the furniture around from place to place, and then I drove a truck.
That's quite the gig, huh?
Thing. Oh, yeah. And then I wrote some funny things about the show and hung them up late at night like a real idiot, Yeah. Well, they found out who was doing it, and I got chewed up by this guy who was a very tough guy who ran the station. But he said, "You can't write, so I'm going to let you write with Baxter Ward, the newscaster," which I did. And then from there went to San Diego to work for one station. The other station saw what I was doing, brought me over. I said, "I'll come over if I can just do a Saturday night show. I'll do whatever you want Monday through Friday, but just give me Saturday night to do from like 11:30 to 1 in the morning," which I did for 3 years. And people from Hollywood came down, saw it, brought me back up here, and that's how the whole thing started.
Wow. That's quite the story. And now, of course, our show, we're up against your former show.
You're up against it, not me.
Well, that's true.
I left them.
Maybe you can come on the show.
I did 28 years sitting there. I couldn't take it anymore.
You couldn't take it?
I mean, I could take it, but 28 years, and I had done a lot of stuff in Hollywood before I came. It was time for Regis to step away.
And now you've kind of moved on. You have this stage show with your wife. You guys have been married 45 years.
That's
Congratulations.
Right. Yes, thank you very much. And we don't do that much, but every now and then somebody does call, and we go to work.
You've obviously been on the air for quite some time.
Yeah.
Before our interview, I was talking to my grandmother, Mom, as I call her, Eddie. She's a huge fan of yours. So she was wondering...
Mom, how are you?
Hey, Mom.
Is Mom coming tonight?
Mom is in New Jersey.
Hey, Mom, I don't care where Mom is.
You want her here?
She should be here tonight.
Backstage, even.
I don't care how hard it's raining.
So
I'm kidding, Mom.
She was wondering if you could friend her on Facebook.
Friend her on Facebook. I'm not in Facebook.
You're not on Facebook.
But I'll be happy to send her a little...
Yeah, send her a handwritten note or something.
Give me all the information that I need. I'll be happy to. Sure.
I'll see what I can do.
Let's keep her happy.
What's the most memorable part of your career?
When I was a kid, I loved Bing Crosby. And I used to listen to all of his songs on WNAW in New York. TV wasn't around at that time. One day on the Joey Bishop show, I worked with Joey too. I was his Ed McMahon. We take a walk every day up Vine Street in Hollywood. One day there was nothing to talk about. So I said, "What did you want to be when you were a kid, Joe?" Yeah. He said, "I wanted to be a comedian. I'd stand on the street corners of Philadelphia, make people laugh." And I became a comedian. "What about you?" I said, "Well, funny that you should ask, but I never dreamed of anybody except Bing Crosby. When I was 8, 9 years old, listening to the radio, listening to Bing sing, the sound of his voice just was great. 3 months later, Crosby's a guest on the show.
Wow.
And so I had told Bishop that I knew all of Crosby's songs. And then he said, Regis, why don't you sing a song to Bing? And so I sang Pennies from Heaven.
You want to give us a little performance?
Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains? There was Bing Crosby. Didn't look like him, but he was sitting right next to me. See? Next day, the phone rang. Not the phone. I got a telegram from, who the heck were they? But anyway, they said, how'd you like to do an album of Crosby songs for us? I said, fine. I took it to Joey. I said, Joey, look at this. Joey read it and said, somebody's playing a joke on you. And he ripped up the thing. The next day, the guy called from Chicago. Said, well, what is it? Yes or no? I said, sure, I'll do it. And that's how this whole thing started. Wow. But nobody starts like you.
Oh, of course not, Regis.
You know, dealing kitchen, food in the kitchen. And then one day...
I was the busboy.
One day, he's with you at 9 o'clock in the morning. Why? Why does that happen?
I don't know. I think the viewers are still wondering. They're like, how do they find this idiot? I don't know. If you're ever bored in Greenwich, feel free to come on CT Style.
I'll think of that. I'll remember that.
Regis, thank you so much for your
you
time.
Bet.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, I'm Regis Philbin, and guess what? I've got CT Style. Figure that out.
I love that.
Such a great guy.
Fantastic. Were you pinching yourself
it was
throughout the interview?
It was a pretty cool experience. I found myself sometimes just sitting there, and because he's telling all these old stories, which are intriguing, and I'm just sitting there like...
just enchanting the way he tells the stories.
Yeah, I forgot I'm actually supposed to interview him and ask him questions. I'm just sitting there like, oh, okay.
He's probably like, right, what are you
doing? Hey, wake up there, kid, you know? But such a cool guy, and he watches the show. Big fan of yours as well. So,
no kidding.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Well, he lives in Connecticut, so obviously he watches CT Style.
Well, why wouldn't he?
Obviously. So we'll have to have him on sometime.
Pretty good.